Hey, I'm Ian Austin. I'm joined by my co-hosts William Toll and Haddon. We are Indie Roots, a team of independent artists and music producers here to help you navigate the music industry. We also produce for other people as a service. So if you would like to go with us to produce your song, you can contact us at indierootsllc@gmail.com. And we also offer coaching. So if you like what you're hearing in this podcast and you want specialized advice for your specific context, we'd love to help you in that area too. Today we're talking about labels, the L word. Dun, dun, dun. Do you need a label? Well, we're just going to come out and say you probably don't. There's probably specific situations where you do need a label, but if you're like us, no.
Like, it depends on what your goals are. If your goal is just to write songs and record them into your phone and make that into like an actual career, then you probably need a label or a publishing deal. And you'll probably need to go like, but the independent life, it involves a lot of skills that aren't necessarily artistic, like marketing and content and production, recording, engineering. These are all really they're really special skills, and they're required for you to make this happen independently. A label will offer you the value of taking all of that off your plate, and you know you they
Sometimes
they'll
it will.
they'll own your, yeah, sometimes they will, but yeah, they'll own your master recordings, and they can monetize it, and until and like maybe they'll give you a $50,000 budget to make an album. You won't see a dime of that until your album has produced enough revenue to counteract that investment that they made initially. Until your album makes $50,000, you won't see a dime of it. But if you're independent and you release a song and it gets a million streams, that's $4,000 in your pocket right away. So those are the differences. There's pros and cons. We would suggest, if you can, just do it all independently. You do not need a label by any means, but it depends on who you are. You might, like, if you're truly not going to do the engineering side or the production side, or the marketing side, like you've just that's just a line you will not cross, then yeah, of course you need a label. But if you're willing to do the all that stuff, then the answer is definitely hard no. You don't need it.
hmm Yeah, I mean, if you think about the history of it, um, several decades ago, when microphones were the epitome of technology, um, there's just simply no way to record music and um, and then to get it on the radio. I mean, that was really the only way. They didn't have streaming. There's really just radio play and then live performances, and label was absolutely necessary. But nowadays, we are able to record everything and market everything. Um, it's honestly just about knowledge. I mean, you can boost it if you have the money, but if you have the knowledge, you can do everything that a label is doing for free and own everything. So I think you guys nailed it. It's just what aligns with your goals. For us three, I mean, we've all grown to really enjoy the business side of it as well, and learning more about that. I do actually work with this kid's YouTube channel. It's like the last remaining um like vestige of my work over the last few years, when I was trying to like do anything to make money. And it's kind of like working for a label because he pays me a little bit up front, and I also get like a small percentage of the master, but he does all the marketing, all the promotion, all the distribution, and it's actually kind of nice. He just tells me like what kind of song to make and I make it. Um, and it's pretty, yeah, it's a lot less of a headache. um,
Yeah.
so I get the appeal, but for my own stuff, yeah, I honestly really enjoy the business side of it.
But then, oh, go ahead, Will.
I was just gonna bring up, so if you were gonna say on the same topic, you can. But I was gonna bring up the idea of like some case examples of like Noah
Go for
Khan,
it.
for instance. Like he was with a label when he was young, and so many people are signed, right? Like, and labels do this thing where they sign you, and therefore they own all of the stuff you write, and in exchange they'll like boost your career, maybe. Um, so the way that they're thinking is like, okay, so we have all the money, and if we sign 100 artists, one of them is probably going to do well. The others probably won't do anything. One of them probably will do a lot.
Dude, it's like the Gen method for artists.
Yeah, exactly. And it's same. We talk about like the Pareto principle, like the 80-20 rule. It's or 90-10. Like, it's same kind of concept. It's like they understand these like mathematical laws of nature, where it's like we have enough artists, one of them will probably do well. So that when that person does well, we're gonna own all of the recordings, and then we're gonna make a lot of money off of that, and it's gonna be more money than we actually put into all these artists, all the 100 of them. And so, a lot of people, like, I live in Nashville. A lot of people in Nashville are like signed with a publisher or a label, and they don't necessarily go anywhere because the labels are once they see traction from one of the artists or a couple of the artists, they're going to put all of their effort behind those, and then they're going to drop the rest. So Noah Khan is a good example of this. He's huge now, and he was with a label at one point, but he was, in that group of 100 or whatever. And some other artists started doing well. They dropped him. So Noah Khan wasn't doing well with a label. They dropped him. And then he was independent, and he was like just trying to figure it out. He had a producer on the side that he worked with just to make his music and write his songs and get him out. And he went viral. And now he's Noah Khan. You all know him now, and he's he did it like independently. So it's kind of a good example of like, how a label kind of operates, and the fact that they can really miss someone that's super talented, because they're really just a bunch of accountants that are looking for a certain bottom line profit, and they're doing it as accountants and not as like, creative minded executives for the most part. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
Here's another thing. It's basically just a business model, as you said. And so they see you as, oh, you might make us a lot of money. If you don't make us money, we'll drop you. But their main goal then with the music is to make money. And so I could see, it's like, why would they care about artistic integrity if it's all about the money? So it's like they actually have the final say on what lyrics are said in your song, what the vibe of the song is. Basically, they're just using you to make them money. And so it's like, so on the one hand, it's like, okay, if you really want to be an artsy artist, go with the label because you only have to be an artist. But then it's like, if you really want to be an artsy artist, they don't let you, because you really just have to play into their system. So yeah, it's so yeah, it's not gonna
I
work.
think, yeah, it's a good reminder too that if you get messaged, or these labels will just spam emails. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Sometimes they will.
Yeah.
And it's a good reminder that if you get some of these emails, like, it might not even mean that they think your music is good, you know? They might not even like your music. They're just, they might not even expect you to win, They're just trying to find enough artists and then use the probability that some will succeed. Like, I got this message from a label, and they were like, hey, I loved your song such and such. It was a great song. All right, by the way, and they went, and okay, it was, I never released the song that they
You didn't release such and
had in the
such. It was not is not a song you ever made.
no. And so they followed up. They're like, "Hey, we had an error in our last email. We meant your song In Your Arms or whatever." And
Yeah.
so it's like they weren't even listening to my songs. They just have an email template where they just copy and paste whatever your number one song is, And
Yeah.
so yeah, and if they're just seeing me as a commodity that they can make money off of, then why am I even going to go? Why don't I just earn it all for myself, go the extra steps? It's going to be hard work, I know it's going to be hard, so why not just figure it out? And I think that's what we're here to do is share the knowledge. It's just knowledge, I spent years at like 100 monthly listeners, but now I'm pretty confident that you know all three of us could actually build ourselves back up relatively quick with just the knowledge we have. So
And what's really funny is people are like, yeah, but all these huge artists are on major labels. And so you have people with millions and millions of monthly listeners. But then if you think about, yeah, but is that person that has like 100 million monthly listeners, do they actually make that much? Well, maybe if you're 100 million monthly listeners, you would make it decent. But let's just say someone at 5 million monthly listeners that's on a label is making way, way, way less than Nick D, who's at 5 million independent. And so it's like, because if the label's taking what 20, well, not 20, if you only get to take home 10 to 20% of the royalties, then you just might need to think of, well, if I'm only, it's like, what is only 20% of 5 million? That's probably what you're actually at if you're indie.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it also, like, if a label offered you $1 million, that sounds crazy. Be set up for life. It would seem like, but a lot of people don't realize like the tax side. I mean, you'll probably walk away with, I mean, at that tax bracket, probably 45% will be taxed. And then, I'm sure you'll have some sort of manager who will take 10 to 20%. And suddenly you're left with like three or $400,000 for several years, and all of a sudden that's kind of like a median income, which not very good.
Yeah.
And no rights to your music. So
John Bellion was talking about on a podcast I heard where he was like, oh man, because Will was talking about how you have to recoup the cost. So if they give you like, I don't know how much he got, but if it was like $100,000 to make the music and tour and all that, you have to make back the money from the music royalties. So he has to pay them back $100,000 from what the songs would make, or from ticket sales. But he was like, man, he was doing the math, and he was also like really big at this time. But he was like, man, I'm gonna have to do so many shows a year. I'm
yeah,
gonna have to
so many
like,
stadiums.
and it's just like, man, I would hate
Yeah.
to be in that situation. Oh yeah, you're famous, but like you gotta work
hmm
yourself to death just to
Yeah.
pay him back.
And
He was like realized like, man, I'm really in the hole right now. Even though he's
yeah.
famous,
Yeah.
you
And
would
the
not think that.
labels, yeah, they would like put his tickets on like half off and stuff, without his permission.
Right.
So
Imagine how much you'd be in the hole if you weren't big like him. If you were like most
yeah.
label artists that are just like doing okay.
hmm
Right. Right. Yeah, it's a good example. Like I think that the general principle is like labels, they need you and you don't need them. Nick D says that a lot, and it's true. They need you because you have the thing that they want to sell, um, and make money off of. But that's the thing, you already have it. And so if you can find a way to monetize it, just like a label is going to do, then you'll have it'll be even more lucrative for you, and you'll have a lot more freedom to do with your talent what you choose to do with your talent, and not what greedy executives. I mean, not all of them are greedy, but a lot of them are. Not all, and they're gonna, they're gonna turn you into kind of like just like a grunt work employee, where it's like, you gotta play every single night if you're gonna recoup this money and see any of the money that we spent on the album. You see any royalties, like, you gotta go. We can go, like, and then you don't see your family, you don't see, like, you just don't have control. And so if you want that lifestyle, it's one thing. We're not saying that nobody should ever sign with a label, but that is something to keep in mind if you ever get to that point, or if you're thinking to yourself, as somebody who maybe you haven't even released a song, and you're like, oh man, if I could just show one song to a label, then they would sign me, and then life is easy street, easy street from then on. It's like, no, there's a whole lot more to it, and it's not true at all. But
Yeah, this is my last thing to add. I just think it's pretty cool. A friend of mine, well, Jimmy Clifton, was talking to some labels in Nashville, and they were all trying to get in touch with Forrest Frank, but he just won't reply to their emails and calls. He just, and they were saying, oh well, he's gonna miss out on tons of opportunities. It's his loss. And I'm like, he is making like millions a month probably. Like, what is he missing out on exactly? It just seems kind of, yeah, slimy.
Okay, I do
I don't know.
think potentially if he was on a label, they could probably get his numbers up, but he would be making way less. So
yeah,
I think that's might be the thing with the label. It's like if you want to get to like top 500 artists on Spotify, it's gonna be really hard probably to do that independent. But like also you're gonna be making like you can't afford to go with the label.
exactly. Yeah, you have to sign instantly. You have to sign it. Like, at his level, he'd probably be able to get like a 50-50 deal where you can still own 50% of his masters or something. But the label, as soon as you sign with them, they own a significant, usually a vast majority or 100% of the master recording. And so, I mean, they would probably pay someone like Forrest Frank just millions and millions of dollars to buy his catalog or whatever. Um, but you just, you lose your autonomy, and the question that we're asking today is, do you need it? Does Forrest Frank need it? No. I mean, if he does not need it at all. And like, somebody like smaller like us making like, a few thousand a month, we don't, I don't think we need it either. Some label can offer us like maybe $100,000 for an advance, and then they have your rights and stuff. And no, you don't need it at all.
I have two more things. I just looked up on the internet, see how many. This is kind of an old number. I couldn't find a recent one, but an old number for what percentage of label artists have been dropped. It was actually 98% got dropped, so only 2% succeeded. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. It seems like, man, it's just like the lottery. Even if you get in the label, it's a lottery.
Right. People often think of labels as like, once you sign, you won. Like, you won the lot. Like, the lottery is getting signed with a label, and like the victory is getting signed with a label. But no, the lottery starts once you're signed.
Right, right. And then one more thing. When I was way smaller, I had this label reach out to me. They were called Fool's Gold. I'm pretty sure they're not real. They had a website, everything.
I
And
got
it's
that
like-
too. Yeah.
And the same people?
Yeah, I got the Fool's Gold message too.
It was like,
it was so bad.
I was like, is this so obvious that no one's gonna expect it if their name is literally Fool's Gold? But they sent me this like, I was just talking to them for fun because I was like, this is interesting. I at least want to like have a call because that'd be interesting to be on a call with the label. But they sent me this like little agreement, and it was like, we'll give you $500,000, and we'll pay for all of this. Includes like wardrobe fees, like touring, and we'll pay for all your productions and mixes. And I was like, but But then it was just like, I think that's just an outrageous like offer. It's like, there's no way they're gonna spend $500,000 on like a little artist. At the time, I was probably like 20,000 monthly listeners. So I just realized like, okay, this is way too good to be true. And also, I was like, even if this is true, I still don't want it because I don't want to give up my music.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Because you'll make more than $500,000 over the course of your life, you know? And so getting that now is not worth sacrificing it for the rest of your life. But
well, to me too, like
yeah.
the artistic integrity piece is, it's like, even if I did like make millions from the label, that's not worth it if I had to lie. I'm not saying label artists have to lie, but I feel like I'm compromising the truth if I am just kind of putting up this facade on something that's marketable and, oh, I'm just saying something that the people want to hear.
Yeah. Right. Were you going to say one more thing? Or was that it?
Those are the two. Yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. Well, it's a good place to stop. Again, we are Indie Roots. Feel free to reach out to us, and don't forget to subscribe and like the podcast and leave a comment. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.